Hey party people, this is your friendly neighborhood fashion design and illustration professor Zoe Hall, sufficiently caffeinated. It is 8 p.m., so I will not be drinking any more coffee today, probably. Welcome to the portfolio series. I do have a few videos already on portfolio work, and it's in its own playlist, and I'll drop a link in the description box below. But so many of you asked for a proper portfolio deep dive how-to tutorial series. Here we are. This portfolio series is going to focus on getting a fashion design job. Okay, I've never worked on any other kind of portfolio. Like, I don't know what goes into a fashion stylist portfolio, so this is going to focus on fashion design jobs. If you want my advice on how to put together an art school portfolio, here it is. Go research the art school you want to apply to. Go look up their requirements. Follow their requirements to the letter. And if you have further questions, you need to ask them because they're the ones that are going to be looking at your portfolio. Okay? And they're the ones that are the best equipped to answer your questions. Okay? This series is all about fashion design jobs. All right. So let's start off by planning what projects you're going to put together. Ask yourself, what do I like to design? What are the skills that I want to showcase in my portfolio to people I'm interviewing with, and what markets do I want to design for? And your portfolio should be centered around these three things. Okay? So let's say you're into menswear. It's like, I want to design menswear. I want to design for adults. I don't want to design for boys, teens. I don't want to design kids' clothes, but definitely menswear. I like tailoring. I like suits. I like casual suits and sports jackets, and I like full formal tuxedos. Okay, these are the things that I like to design. So maybe you do one project where you have, casual but still fashionable, smart sports coats and casual pants for older men. Okay, there's kind of a hole out there in the market for them. Like for older guys, it's suits and then like dad jeans. And then maybe you want to do something a little bit more formal, but not so expensive for younger guys, because younger guys typically don't have as much money, but they do need to look nice. And so maybe you want to target something where it's like the lower end of Nordstrom price brackets, but you want to give them some smart blazers, some nice tailored trousers, those kinds of options. And so maybe after that, like a third project would be process photos of you hand tailoring a jacket from scratch. So even if the job doesn't require you to sew or cut, you can show people that you really understand tailoring and the garment construction process. Let's say you want to design women's wear. Okay, let's say, I love working with color, I love working with prints, and these are the things that I'm good at, and these are the things I want to showcase. You can do one project where it's work clothes that aren't boring, important. And, you have some prints, but they're more subtle, they're a little bit, more appropriate for an office setting. And then you could do a series of day dresses where the prints are a little bit louder, the colors are a bit brighter because they're not for the office. And then maybe you could do one where it's like, sort of like home, lounge, athleisure, pajama style, where you're putting prints on knits. And just on a side note, these larger companies that split up design teams into categories, okay, they typically go like this. Like they'll categorize, outerwear, shirts, bottoms, like that. And when your company gets even larger, the design teams get split into knits and wovens. I had a girlfriend who was the creative director of men's knit bottoms. It's really specific, right? So basically, no jeans, no chinos, nothing like that. She did basketball shorts, sweatpants, that sort of thing. So the larger the company, the more niche the design teams get. So even if your focus and your love is colors and prints, you're showing that you can do work clothes, you can do play clothes, you can do knits, you can do wovens, okay, that kind of range. Here's a question I get a lot. Does my portfolio need a theme? And by that, like, what they mean is like, do all my portfolio projects need to be inspired by the ocean? Or do they all need to cater towards one customer? Okay. I've seen cool portfolios where there's both menswear and women's wear because they had other elements in common. Okay, but anyway, that's besides the point. No, you don't need to have all of your portfolio projects under one umbrella theme. You can if it really makes you happy, but I have never heard anyone say, you know, that project was really good, but it didn't follow a theme, so I don't know. Like, if you heard anything like that, please do let me know in the comments because I've never had that experience ever. Okay? So you don't need a theme, but there should be some sense of organization and kind of like people should be able to sense your strengths and your style aesthetic, you know, throughout your portfolio. How many projects should I include in my portfolio? I say 4 to 6. And before you start freaking out about that huge number, please sit down and hear me out, okay? Number 1, you want to show off as much of your skill set as possible in your book. And if you try to cram that all into 1 or 2 projects, chances are your project is going to look extremely over-designed, okay? Like if you want to, even with the examples that I showed, okay, if you were like, oh, you know, I'm going to show loud prints, I'm going to show subtle prints, I'm going to show knits on fleece, I'm going to show knits on silk, cram it all into one project, it's going to look terrible, okay? So you do need to spread out your skill sets so that it looks attractive. Another thing is, no one is going to look at all 6 of your projects. I've had marriage proposals in the comment section of my videos, and even then, I seriously doubt that they've watched every single one of my videos. The reason why you have all 6 is, again, you create 6 projects that show a variety of your skill range. You land an interview with a particular company, you research that company, what they're all about, and then you choose the 3 to 4 projects that follow the brand aesthetic as closely as possible, the projects that you think will show you in the best light to this particular company, and you move those to the front of your book. If they love you and they need to see everything you've ever done in your life, be flattered, show them all the things, but for the most part, you know, whoever's interviewing you, they'll have decided whether they want to keep talking to you or not by the 2nd project. And then by the 3rd and 4th, they'll have made up their minds, okay? That's why you have so many, so you can have options while you're doing all your interviewing. On that note, not every single one of these 4 to 6 projects need to be the same level of intricately detailed and elaborate and multi-step. 2 to 3 of these projects should show the entire design process. You can see the entire design process as I teach it in my fashion design process playlist, where I go over mood boards and color boards and fabric stories and, you know, all of that. So yeah, 2 to 3 projects should show the whole process and should include every detail, should include your croquis books and your side flats and all of that, okay? And we'll go over that in this series, okay? 1 or 2 of your projects within the 4 to 6 can be less elaborate. Like let's say, you know, you want to show off that you are good at working with handicrafts and merging that and moving that into mass producible stuff. So you design this beautiful group of very intricate, beautiful lace applique, hand beaded blouses. And so the project is really focused on the handicrafts, your sewing samples, your beading samples, and how well you can design appliques, and then your beautiful flats. And it doesn't really focus on, you know, market research and, you know, collaging process and stuff like that, right? So it's like focusing on one section. And then one of these 4 to 6 projects can be kind of miscellaneous. Some options for this miscellaneous project can be one, it can be a garment being constructed. As I mentioned before, showing people that you really understand and know the garment construction process can be very beneficial. Like, I know how to sew. I'm not gonna sew, but I know how. If you don't have process photos, you can show like front, back, side, inside. Look, my inside is stitched beautifully, okay? Because I hand stitched the hem of that lining, yo. Like, show all of that. If you're fresh out of school, you can show runway shots of your senior collection. If you're not, like a year after that, it's kind of like, don't show school stuff, okay? But if you're fresh out of school, like up to a year, like you can still show school stuff and it's still relevant and fresh. If you've been working for a little bit, you can add stuff from previous jobs. You know, you can add line sheets, especially if you were in charge of doing the flats or formatting the line sheets. If you were part of the design team, you can include lookbooks and be like, I was part of the design team, we did this together. Or if you designed the print, you can point out that these are the prints that you developed while you were working at XYZ company. What I used to do was I had an extra little booklet and it was all fashion graphics. You know, I didn't want to create like a collaged page of fashion graphics that I had done for, you know, various freelance projects. It looks messy, it's kind of hard to look at. So I had a little booklet, each page was one graphic, and if I could, I printed it out to scale. Some of these graphics got turned into silk screens, embroideries, appliques, leather debossing. Similarly, if you really love developing prints, you know, maybe you have a section in the back where you show some prints that you designed that you haven't designated to specific garments yet. Oh, I just love playing with prints, so I developed these. I haven't decided how I'm gonna use them yet, but yeah, I just really love developing prints. Yeah. We'll get more into this later on, but you know, the very end of your book, you should include things like extra copies of your resume, extra copies of a list of your references. You should have, if you've won any awards or scholarships or had any publicity, you know, you could do a page with your scholarship letters and your, you know, newspaper clippings and that kind of thing. Kind of at the end, it's like, hey, I mean, even your resume, you should put down, oh, hey, you know, I got this scholarship based on my merits. I got this award. I won this competition, you know, things like that. One last note on the planning process. Do not over-focus your portfolio, especially if you're fairly new to the fashion design game. Everyone has stuff that they prefer to design, and I get that, okay? But you should try to show your range even within, you know, the categories that you prefer. Like, let's say that you love designing with evening wear and that's all you want to design. But even within evening wear, you can show range. You can do, let's say, you know, a group that's all like completely insane, red carpet, Rihanna's wearing this on at the Met Gala style evening wear. And then you could do one group that's very wearable, beautiful blouses that can be dressed down for a day and dressed up for night. And then a third project can be a series of bridesmaid dresses for women who are allergic to pink ruffles. Okay? So all evening wear, but still showing range. Nobody likes a one-hit wonder. Nobody hires a one-hit wonder. And, you know, definitely do not focus your portfolio on one brand. It's so tacky to have your portfolio focused on Jill Sander and taking it to anywhere else that is not Jill Sander. Because they were like, oh, you really want to work at Jill Sander? Why are you here? Next. At this point, you may be feeling like I'm putting too many restraints and making you get all organized and all this planning. And you're like, but I'm creative. I'm in fashion. You know, I should be able to do whatever I want. Like, let my creative streak fly. And, you know, I get that. I get that. Everyone should feel free to let their freak flag fly and, you know, take their creativity and run with it. But here's the reality. Your portfolio should express that you are ready to work in the fashion industry. And the fashion industry is an industry. Fashion is a business. We're a creative business, and we love beautiful things. We love making beautiful things, but we also like selling beautiful things. And so in order to get hired, you have to show people that you're ready to work in this business. You're creative, but you can work in this business. You know, as much as you can follow that crazy inspiration butterfly, you know, and go interesting places with it, you have to start with some kind of organization, because you know, when you're establishing a company and a brand, you are thinking about, okay, who is the customer for my brand? What are the things they are looking for? What is the category we are fulfilling? You have to consider the brand and the season and organize yourself in that vein, and then be creative within that kind of direction. Okay? That's how the industry works. Let's say you love shopping at Uniqlo. Okay? And what are they known for? Okay? They're known for basics. They're known for colorful basics that occasionally have a quirky twist, and they're known for fabric technology, right? They have that heat tech and, you know, that kind of stuff, right? So what if they started doing pink sparkly dresses one day because their designer decided that pink sparkly dresses was giving her life that season? You would walk into Uniqlo and be like, what the fuck is happening? So you have to follow your company, your brand, you know, you have to be loyal to your customers, and then just let your creativity roam within those parameters, all right? Listen, it has always been my philosophy that any idiot can design something wonderful given all the creative freedom in the world. If you could do anything with any kind of money, you know, like no budget, everything, and you still can't make something beautiful, then but what makes a great designer is that they are still able to make amazing things happen given specific constraints and restrictions. And that's the fashion industry, okay? That's what we all do every day, okay? We all design clothes given a design direction, given a customer direction, given a market research direction, okay? That is what we do. So your portfolio should reflect that you know this. Your portfolio should reflect that you're a professional ready to work in the industry. I hope this video was helpful for you. Please do hit the like button if it was helpful and you want me to continue the portfolio series. Drop me all your questions in the comment section below. Share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you in the next video.